Okay, good morning everybody. It is chilly. Man, I thought it was like springtime in California. Oh, what's the temperature outside right now? 39 degrees. What in the world? Anyways, that all said, we're going fishing, obviously. We do have a nice little plethora of kayaks to choose from, as you guys just saw in the garage. The big one, the little one, the medium one, and we're taking out the medium one today. Titan X 10.5, Delta ready, so to speak. That's where we took it the last couple of trips. Yeah, Delta was tough, kind of reflective of this cold morning, this weather, the air temps. Just hasn't been popping off like you'd think. This time of year, spring right around the corner, end of March, and the fish haven't seemed to have woken up from their winter slumber. They're not in that aggressive feeding mode. At least I can't find those fish on the Delta. The Delta is a big old maze after all, so it could be going off somewhere at some time, but I have yet to find that. I have yet to really put the pieces of the puzzle together with the last couple of trips. Just a couple of bites here and there, flipping shallow toolies, a couple little crankbait fish, striper. Yeah, I'm lost. But here's the beauty of fishing. Every day of fishing is a brand new day, right? I think that's probably what attracts me to fishing the most. That aspect of chance, that mystery. You just don't know what's gonna happen in a day. And I do like that element of it. And today is a new day. Hopefully the fish are cooperating today. I did say this in the previous video with the Delta. I feel like more than any other body of water I've fished, month of March, especially March, April, the springtime, I feel like in most places you can look at like a graph and the bite just kind of picks up a little bit each day, each week. It steadily improves, right? That makes sense. But the Delta, nah. Delta doesn't do that. Delta's like up here one day and then down and then up and then down and then down and then down. It feels like we're actually on that down period right now. But eventually that graph will spike and there will be an amazing day of fishing waiting to be had. I'm hoping that that day is today. I don't know if today's the day. I do know that I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to go try out on the California Delta. Fingers crossed. Let's go. Here we go. Nice brisk morning out here on the Delta. Made my way to the first spot. This is the first time I think I ever had an idea of where I wanted to start and actually made the run without stopping, even though everything looks fishy, especially on a high tide first thing in the morning. That's the first time I actually got to where I wanted to go. We're kind of going all the way back into a cove to start. We're going to work our way out after that. And then just go exploring. High tide right now. I think it'll actually top out in about another hour and then dropping the rest of the day. As I said in the last couple of videos, right now, higher tide seems to be much better fishing for me. So I feel like I really got to capitalize this morning, first 3-4 hours, while there's still some water over these fish's heads. Probably by 1-2 o'clock. If we were here at 2 o'clock, we'd be sitting on the bank. Got one. Oh, I thought that was a fish. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, there was one. There was one on a tree. That one might have been on a bed. Let's see, I don't know. That's where I just saw that first fish. Right on that bright spot of that log. Guess he didn't come back. Oh, there he is. There he is right there. Huh. A 2-pounder. It's like he wants to make a bed. It's like too cold. He's like, what is going on? It's almost April. 39 degrees in the morning. I want to spawn. Well, we've basically reached the end of this dead end. 9:42, not a single bite. Saw the one, like 2-pounder up shallow. I guess this isn't even technically a dead end because it does connect to the other side. A little current back here. Oof, man, it's still cold. I can understand why these fish aren't biting. I'm still freezing, like underdressed for sure. It's still only about 44 degrees out right now. Whew. Man, what to do? Pretty clear back here. I wish I could see more fish. I've seen that one, but that's it. I stood up a couple of times and I'll keep looking. It'd be nice to see some fish though. Oh, had one follow it. Dang. Actually saw it all the way to the boat. Slow down. Okay. Man, not even a bite and I'm excited. I saw a bass chase a bait. Halfway decent one too. Why couldn't you just commit? I know if you guys want a bait, no matter how fast we can reel, like if they want to eat it, they're gonna eat it. I made that cast right on the edge of this like grass mat deal. He must have been sitting on it and just followed the bait out. And it does not matter what time of year, cannot pass up frogging a duckweed mat. Say what, if there's one under this mat, they'd be tempted. They would be tempted. Not saying they'd eat the frog, but I think they'd think about it. Oh, there's our punch fish. Little guy. I'll take him though. Man, I'm happy to have you, little fella. Thought you were like a giant for a second. Not even a keeper. No skunk. Same pattern as last time. Okay, first bite. Dude, I don't understand. A month ago, we're fishing out here for the Gambler Series, the first tournament of the year. It was brutal. Like only a few people caught limits. If you had told me that in a month from that date, in March, end of March, mid-March, that the bite would be tougher, I would have been like, no way. That's impossible. Seems like it is right now. But we still got a lot of fishing to do, so let's change that. Still in the delta. It may look very uncharacteristic of the delta back here, but this is still the delta. I fished here a bunch of times, haven't been here in a while, but I don't think I'm gonna spend much time in here. There's way more houses than the last time I was here, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but the bad thing is, what I can tell they have absolutely nuked all the grass back here. There is no grass. And delta bass like grass. So check a few more little areas, but if I don't see any more grass or any grass at all, I feel like there's no point in fishing back here. This could be another one of those multi-day videos. morning, folks. A couple days later, back on the Delta. I'm not giving up on her. I still have a little optimism. You know, after a tough day, it might take a day or two to find your optimism again, but I found it. We're back out here. Actually on a spot, or at a spot that I mentioned was where we fished the Gambler Series tournament, the tournament last month, where it was super tough. Did catch a couple of fish in that 2-day tournament over here. Didn't get a limit either day. What, 2 the first day and 3 the second day. I do remember on day 1, I actually ventured way back into a slough here. Didn't get a bite. Didn't even catch anything, obviously, but the water temp was surprisingly pretty high. So I'm going to use that knowledge from a month ago. We're going to venture back there today. Should be even warmer, and yeah, hopefully those fish cooperate today. See something's back right there. Should go check it out. Is it maybe a carp? Big old fish right there. Curious. What is that thing? Oh, it's a turtle. A couple of turtles. 3 turtles. Thought we had a Loch Ness monster in the Delta over here. Well, carry on. Man, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. I'm fishing for what, a couple hours now? Water's 57. Water clarity's good. Tide's good. That fish should be stacked up in this time of year, especially this time of year. And I cannot get a bite. This is odd. You know, if we had like, I don't know, a storm earlier this week or something goofy just with the weather, you know, I would have been like, all right, well, maybe these fish are in a funk. I just feel like there's no fish around. The fish are not around. It's not that they're not biting. They're just not here. I can't explain it. I mean, I don't know what is up with the Delta. It's almost like there's been a massive die-off of fish, and there's just not as many around. There should be fish, and there's none. So here's the problem. These areas right here are where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be able to just stand up and look around and see some fish. And they are not here. That is problematic. Like, that is not good. How? I don't understand. How are they not around? There are not fish in this area. There's turtles. No fish though. Oh my god, I finally got a fish. Spinnerbait. Oh my god, we didn't skunk. Little fella. Cannot believe we actually caught one. I think that's about the same size we caught the other day. Oh, that's what's left in the Delta, guys. Okay. Well, I don't know. Did slightly rejuvenate me though. You go 3+ hours without a bite, especially the way the Delta's been fishing. You start thinking about maybe packing up early, In-N-Out burger, pale ale, all those creature comforts to forget about the butt whooping you just got. But that bite did excite me. I'm a little more optimistic now. Not too much, a little bit. There we go. Spinnerbait. Some fish around this little island. Oh man, we're growing up a little. Got a 10-incher instead of an 8-incher. Okay. Man, just getting bites though is exciting. Didn't know if it was possible. What's funny is this is the same area. I fished this earlier. Like, I think I may have been throwing a bladed jig and maybe a wacky worm, but same area, just a little bit different tide, different time of day, a little more wind now. The few fish that are here, the little babies, those conditions apparently have set them up. Or maybe it's the bait, I don't know. Do not know. Those two fish were setting up right when I rolled the spinnerbait by an ambush point. They came out and smoked it. So you know those ones are looking to eat. Got one. They're setting up different. Yeah, they're getting a little bigger too. These are the exact same areas I fished before. Alright, I just have to wait the dang tide out. Time of day or something. Gotta keep fishing. This is a bite window. It ain't gonna last all day, I promise you that. It could shut off at any point. These fish are just setting up right now. Whatever reason, they like this tide. Setting up on the edges of islands. You know, like I mentioned, these are areas that I had fished already earlier. We're working our way back now, of course, but I actually don't think I did throw the spinnerbait that much. It was more the bladed jig and flipping these dead tule mats. A lot of worms, finesse, drop shot, wacky. Yeah, I don't think I actually threw the spinnerbait a whole lot this morning, so I wonder if it's a bait deal versus a tide deal. It's probably a combination of both. Interesting. More so here than anywhere else in the world with the delta being tidal and all. It's like you always try to figure out why. Why did I get bit there at this time, on this tide, this bait? Does it all make sense to line up? There's just so many variables you have to account for that it's hard to really feel confident in a certain thing unless you're really getting smoked on it. And you know, when this tide drops a little lower, maybe spinnerbait isn't gonna get bit. Maybe they'll actually tuck up under these little tule mats, and punching or flipping would be the way to catch them. But right now in this situation, in these conditions, spinnerbait is what it's looking like. These pockets where I care about good. That's a weird thing to happen. Good one. Finally got a good one. Come here. Come here, dude. Oh, there we go. Finally got a good one. Jeez. So you guys are around. Spinnerbait. Alrighty, that's fun. That's fun. Have my throttle on, just kind of slow trolling around. Foot controlled steering, of course. Fishing hands free and controlling the boat. But when you hook into one, and you guys even called me out on this a couple of times, you don't want to lose pressure on the fish. And what I do in the past, I still probably do it every so often, but what I used to do a lot is I turn the throttle off. I turn that motor off with the fish, and then I'd lose pressure on it and they'd get off. I try not to do that anymore, but kind of a you-know-what show. All right, I'm feeling good now. Keep fishing, keep going. Man, after you get a few bites, any bite really, but after you get a good bite like that, I mean, that wasn't a giant by any means, but it was a solid fish. That's when it all makes sense. That's why you do what you do. You grind out those tough days. Cast after cast after cast. Sometimes skunk, sometimes just brutal. Absolutely brutal. But man, I don't know what it is about catching a fish that just rejuvenates you, at least me. It just changes your mindset, changes your mood. I feel so much better now. It literally is a drug. Like, I am so hungry to feel that again now. It's a weird thing. Obviously, if you have never fished in your life, you don't understand a word I'm saying. But you guys that fish a lot, and you guys grind for bites, you go out whenever you can, you take what you can, and that reward, that feeling, you know what I'm talking about. Whew, man. And now we've got like a little bit of anticipation because we're getting bit. We got a little pattern. Now the anticipation is good. Oh. Hey, you got smaller. I don't care how big you are. I don't care if you're 8 inches. I'll take you guys all day long. They want it. They definitely want it. They're choking it now. Right on cue, buddy. There we go. Old spinnerbaity. Just when you think the Delta's a complete desert for bass, they show themselves. Oh, look at a muskrat. So that's why they throw big rats out here. I do not know. Water's 59 degrees now. Maybe a frog? Tell you what, after these 2 days of fishing out on the Delta with as tough as the bite's been, if we got a frog bite, that would just be so fitting, right? Delta, a place that doesn't follow the traditional rules of bass behavior. Alrighty folks, that's gonna do it for our day. Well, I guess 2 days out on the California Delta, and man, just like the title said, this place is weird. This is a funky fishery. I haven't fished the Delta near as long as a lot of other people out here, the locals, but I've fished it now for like 7-8 years, and I'd say the one thing that I've learned over those years about the Delta is that it is always constantly changing, year to year, month to month, week to week, day to day. And actually relying on history and where you may have caught them or did well certain times a year doesn't really matter out here. It's very unique in that way. But yeah, 2 days out on the Delta. You guys saw the first day, terrible. Today, about 2 days later, tried a different launch. Actually, a place that I mentioned we fished about a month ago for the Gambler series had a lot warmer water temps back a month ago, 56, 57. Oddly enough, that was about the temperature today. So even a month later, the water temps haven't gone up much. Anyways, today started out the same as the other day. Super tough, doing my whole deal out here, mixing up baits, fishing different things, fishing the bank, fishing the islands, fishing the toolies. I mean, we had a good tide today, in my opinion. We had an incoming tide to start. It was going to be a high tide around 11 o'clock. So relatively high water all day, but in the morning, just could not get anything going. Slinging everything from the bladed jig to the spinnerbait to the crankbait, throwing a lot of finesse today. I really thought maybe just I needed to slow down and pick areas apart. That didn't work. And I'd say the most discouraging part about today was really when I'd get up shallow, the water was clean enough that I could see to the bottom, and I just did not see anything. Standing up, paddling around, you know, this time of year especially, you should be able to go up in the shallows, especially on islands or really anywhere that there's hard bottom or they could spawn, and you should be able to see some fish cruising around. I did not see a single thing, not even like a bluegill. So, you know, after seeing that, I'm like, well, I guess I've just been casting into a desert the whole time. Honestly, I was thinking about calling it early today, maybe getting off the water about 11:30. I was making my way back to the ramp. I decided to fish some of the areas that I fished before. Tide was a little different now, had a little bit of wind, and I picked up the spinnerbait, and I guess that was the key to unlock the puzzle today of the Delta. Not that we crushed it or anything, but that spinnerbait bite definitely happened for at least a solid 45 minutes to an hour on that island. And that's the thing about the Delta. For whatever reason, tide, time of day, wind, who knows, the fish will set up just right and get on that feed window where they actually set up to ambush bait, and that's exactly what they were doing to the spinnerbait. I was throwing that in the same areas I was throwing before, but I think now, or at least at that time, the fish had just positioned. Whether whether or not they were out in the grass or maybe they were way buried up in the tules. I think they just moved on out to those ambush points, the tule clumps, and when that spinnerbait would go by, they'd eat it. So yeah, a lot of fun. No giants. I mean, relatively small ones. We did progressively get bigger fish as we kept catching them. Did catch one nice one, maybe 2.5, 3 pounds. But yeah, I mean, bites were all I was looking for today. I'm not looking to come out here and catch 30 pounds. That ain't gonna happen. But just getting bites right now, especially after the other day and only catching one. I think we got like 6 today. Nothing epic, but maybe a sign that the fishing will improve. I don't know. I can't even say at this point. I want to say like in a month from now, in April or end of April, May, fishing is going to be amazing, but you just don't know. It could be amazing. It could be worse. It could be the same. Literally an impossible place to predict, which in a way that is kind of the allure to it, right? The mystery, especially out here where everything looks so fishy, just not so much of a fun mystery when it's kicking you in the teeth all the time. It's been tough out here, no doubt. Happy to catch some fish today, guys. We're loaded up. I'm going to get out of here, but as always, I thank you guys for watching, for coming along on apparently now these multi-day trip videos. Hopefully that trend doesn't continue, but it is what it is. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.